program you are about to hear is fiction, science fiction. We make no guarantees, however, how long it will remain fiction.
So, one thing that I think is real common is for people to kind of catch wind of this idea and to see how this might happen for some people, but then think, but I can't do that because I've got all these obligations. I've got all this debt, or I've got maybe, house payments. There's all these things that people think hold them back from getting free and changing their life. And in a lot of cases, you are going to have to deal with stuff like that. Not all debt, I think, are we obligated to pay off. That's somewhat controversial, but I think some debts are, they're sort of part of a larger scam that's being pulled on humanity, and I don't feel any guilt about just walking away from stuff like that. But when it comes to, can I do it? What'll happen to me? It's a security issue. People are afraid that if they walk away from their job and their apartment or their house or whatever, that they're not going to have a place to live, that they're going to not have any money, that they're going to become homeless, that they're going to have some horrible thing happen to them. And my message to people who want to change their life but feel that they can't because they want security is that you can still have security in the agora and in the counter-economic system. It's not the same kind, and there are some sacrifices you make, especially if you don't already have a good network, if you don't have a good connection, if you don't have a great setup to go to. But part of what I'm trying to do is to create more of a network, a system that helps people find that. It's a sort of matchmaking setup where, if you want out and you don't know where to go, well, maybe we can help you. Maybe we know where the projects are. Maybe we can place you with somebody. But in the meantime, even without that network already existing, it's possible to find it yourself. You could do all the work that I do when I'm looking for communities to go visit. Get on Fellowship for Intentional Communities or the Global Eco Village Network. Nextdoor is a great one. If you live in a local area and you're trying to stay in your area, but you want a change in lifestyle. If you're looking to go elsewhere in the world, there's all these databases of projects. And so it's through your willingness to work and your willingness to live in a little bit less of a conventional setup, like in a dorm style or in a tiny house or camping. If you're willing to do stuff like that for short term, it's not like you're going to live that way the rest of your life, but if you're willing to make that sacrifice, then you can not have to worry about all these other things like, what about this payment? What about this payment? How will I afford it? It's super cheap to do it. And a lot of communities will feed you and house you, and you won't have to have any expenses, assuming you're willing to give up your phone and all these things. And that's another issue. But I guess I'm just trying to say that it's possible to get out and still be comfortable and still have your needs met. And it's actually way more exciting, way more fun. It's a total adventure because you don't know what's going to happen, where you're going to land. You don't necessarily know what's going to happen next year. You don't have that long-term security. But I feel like you're built by changing our lives. We're building a longer-term security than even a pension or any of that stuff gives you. We're building intergenerational security. And so I really encourage people to explore options and to believe in themselves. Believe that you guys have what it takes to do this, because most of us do. And most of us would be happier if we could break some of these chains and live a little more free. So I definitely want Permagora to be a resource for people who are thinking about it, and I want to see more resources become available to people over the next few years. I think that's important work.